Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be able to get this wingmate rock all rated up. But still, it's going to be a productive turn. I mean, he's got to be happy, right? Like, he untaps with 4 mana, drawing his 4th card, and 2 active planeswalkers with a creature on the battlefield. It's hard to ask for much more than that.
Yeah, the Mantis Rider is his biggest problem now, and I think he could just utter end away the Mantis Rider.
Yeah, he's still going to consider that Dispel as a possibility, as Neal did drop a Polluted Delta right before passing the turn back. But yeah, running your utter end into a Dispel feels completely horrific, but sometimes you do what you got to do. Let's see what he's going to do here.
He's going to get the information now.
And this does signify that there's a Dispel coming now for Neal. Michael was keenly aware that this was a possibility, but he's decided that this is what I need to do.
It's just so good if he can remove the Mantis Rider and defend his Planeswalkers that he had to go for it. I think he's right. I'm also with you that I don't think it's going to work. It's pretty good sweat if Neal doesn't have the Dispel, but fetches through the blue Mantis response anyway.
Just to keep him honest. Yeah, I like it. All right, Dispel indeed. Now, you also noticed that Michael did this before messing around with his Planeswalkers here.
Exactly. He wanted the information before he decided which modes to activate on his Planeswalkers. Sorin might just go down for another Vampire token now, for example.
Sure. Seems very reasonable.
It's going to die anyway.
Cha-ching, cash that in. Get yourself another Vampire.
Now, Gideon is less clear, but he goes for the token.
So, a good turn for Michael, but he's still got problems here. Soulfire Grandmaster not doing a ton on this board currently, but Mantis Rider's going to start taking big chunks out of the old life total there, and or killing perhaps Gideon here as well. He's got another one in his hand. He may just let this one die.
Does. I mean, he could have jump blocked with the Vampire, but the second Gideon in hand makes that line less attractive.
This is going to be Tassiger the Golden Fang here for Oliver. Well, this is a great match so far. Both decks have really gotten to do what they want to do.
Indeed.
And we kind of get to see what happens when the dust settles on both of these archetypes kind of going down the path that they wanted to go down.
Neal gets to leave exactly 1 card in his yard.
See, it's unclear right now as well. Like, ooh, there's a land off the top for Majors. Could see him send an ally to its doom to get a Wingmate Rock down. He's going to be a little hesitant to do that here, though, because Neal Oliver is representing Ojutai's command in a pretty big way. And again, it's a similar fashion. Running your Wingmate Rock into an Ojutai's command doesn't feel very good.
Yeah. Neal had even left Jace as the last card in his yard rather than Goliath's command.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, good eye. That's just another indicator that he could have it. And Michael's going to decide to play around it here. He also would have to throw away a creature to get rated Wingmate Rock going. Take a look at Mike on the right. There's Neal Oliver wearing his his GP Las Vegas t-shirt. Now, he didn't win that, but the year before, or 2 years before, I should say, he did win that one. He still holds the distinction of having. He just cashed an emblem.
Well, 3/3 is a lot better than 2/2 when there's Mantis Riders.
Totally. Yeah, don't blame him at all. And there is Ojutai's command. Neal's going to go ahead and use it anyway here. Going to draw a card and get Jace Vryn's Prodigy going again as well. He's not going to wait around. I think he knows that Michael is not going to let him just get him with the Ojutai's command. So he's going to use up his mana and keep the cards flowing here.
That's instead of a Tassiger activation.
Correct.
Which still seems reasonable.
Yeah, Neal won the biggest Magic tournament ever, at least by attendance.
Story.
And he has proven to be quite a good player as well. That was kind of the breakout he needed. Made a big splash there. He found himself in the finals of another GP in that same season, facing down the rejuvenated and returned William Huey Jensen in the finals. He was not able to beat him, but still it put Neal on a lot of people's radar after seeing him win a huge tournament. But you never quite know. You know, maybe he just ran good or had the format pegged or whatever. And then when you see him in another GP finals, you know, a month and a half later or whatever, you know the kid can play. All right, Flooded Strand hits the bin. Where are we going here, Neal?
Choosing to do this before he activates Jace.
Yeah, he's got 2 cards in the yard now, so it does seem...
Yeah, he's not going to get to flip Jace.
I mean, he could if he wanted. Like, he could activate Tassiger here if he just has nothing else going.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know how important it is to get Jace going, but... Hello! How about Dragon Lord Silumgar? Never mind that nonsense.
Steal your vampire token. No more 3/3 flying blocker for you.
Wow. I like this. Just throw the haymaker. Neal Oliver just not messing around here. The Gideon emblem doing good work, though, holding back Tassiger and the Soulfire Grandmaster somewhat as well. But that was a huge swing for Neal Oliver. I mean, I wonder, does Michael have cards in his deck that get him out of this type of scenario? Like, this is bad.
Does Quarantine Field count? Draw
Exile
6 mana, Quarantine
Tassiger.
for 2. I mean, a lot of his deck is 1-for-1s. It's Stasis Snare, Murderous Cut, Silk Wrap, things like that.
He would take that.
Secure the Waste can do some work, especially with a Gideon emblem in play. There's a Singleton Omnixilus floating around.
He just drew another Gideon here, but he still has the Wingmate Rock in his hand as well as his Silk Wrap. Looks like a tough position here for Major. So this is going to be the I'd like to have raid, please.
Rock.
Yeah. Neal Oliver probably sniffed this out. He's not compelled to block being at 20 life. He'd only go down to 17, but you know, you don't want to give up free value either. Wouldn't be surprised to see Tassiger jump in front. Oh, interesting. He's considering blocking. No, that doesn't really work either. He picked up the Vampire for a minute, but remember, it's just a 2/2 now, and that's
right.
a 3/3 Knight, so it'd be a chump. Yeah, I kind of like the Tassiger block.
Right. What is
like,
he?
what goes terribly awry here if you block with Tassiger?
Don't know.
I guess the real question is just like, well, what's the downside of not blocking? It's 3 damage, which matters, but it's just so much more likely that he's trying to set up raid for Wingmate Rock. I really like that block from Neal. So how much does this help? I mean, the 2 3/4s, but they're facing down a 3/5 Death Touch.
They're 4/5s.
2 4/5s, but he's facing down a 3/5 Death Touch, which is really annoying for even 4/5s.
True.
Yeah, he's going to need to find a way to get that Dragon Lord Silumgar out of there. I mean, just as a blocker.
Yeah, would have liked to be able to keep that roast off the Jace activation, but his hand was too good.
Yeah, he can't roast anything anyway, just a Knight.
I guess that's true. Kept the Ojutai's command over it. And then promptly top decks the land. You're like, come on, deck. What are you doing to me? Put those cards in a different order.
Jace doing what Jace does. He gets rid of Flooded Strand. I wonder if he has anything he can get left. Probably so. I guess he's only got 3 of his battle lands there. But he does set himself up for next turn being able to transform Jace and start grinding with that. He doesn't attack with anything, just passes turn back. And what did Majors find? He found a shambling vents.
It's not clear that either player can attack just yet. I mean, Neal's got to be the one who's ahead since
He's
got
definitely ahead.
Tassiger and Soulfire Grandmaster. But he's also kind of sort of out of gas.
Take a look at Nathan Holiday and Raymond Perez Jr. on their back table there. We'll jump over there if the occasion permits. But these two guys are in a bit of a late game grind fest here and really have to kind of figure out how they want to proceed.
Interesting, by the way, that Ray Perez, Nathan Holiday match also features this white-black tokens deck.
Oh, jeez.
Ray Perez is running it as well.
Sorry, Fabrizio. He might want to pick a deck that beats this.
Well, we'll see how many of this is still running around tomorrow.
It is early in the tournament still. You are correct. So Michael played a second Gideon and just immediately cashed it in for a second emblem there. Well, now these Wingmate Rocks are of the requisite power.
Yep.
He's going to send one into the red zone, gain a life, go up to 15. Neal's considering just chump blocking. He's just going to chump. And is this Ojutai's command?
For Tasker.
For Oliver? Yeah, there, yeah. For Tassiger. Tassiger. Another Tassiger. He can get back a roast, an Ojutai's command, or a redundant Tassiger.
Yeah. How about a second copy of that legendary creature?
Can't feel great for Oliver, though. It does mean that, you know, his Tassiger's not going anywhere. All right, so Jace can transform here and get him back Ojutai's command, which he's already got a copy of, or a roast, which isn't doing much here either. But he also gets the loot, so maybe he just finds some heat with that. Ooh,
Dragon Master.
found him
Outcast.
something indeed. Now, I believe that Michael has a Silk Wrap in his hand, so he's found his target for that. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, would he have taken out Jace with it? I suppose he needed to use up, or he decided to use up 4 mana this turn and wouldn't have had the leftover. Huh, interesting stuff. So Jace, though, officially is unbound as a telepath. Interesting. So it looks like Oliver's going to just crash in with Tassiger. I think he figures that he'll trade that and a Wild Slash for a bird token, especially given that he's got the backup Tassiger.
He can flashback Kolaghan's command if Michael blocks. Like, Jace is flipped, but he hasn't flashed anything back yet, so...
I don't think he has a Kolaghan's command in his yard, though. He's got an Ojutai's command.
Oh, it's exiled.
Yeah.
I see.
It just unlocks the fact that he can play the other Tassiger and get, I believe, a Wild Slash out of his hand, which isn't doing anything
That makes
here
sense.
anyway. Boom. Dragon Master Outcast. So that thing's alive, and it's ready to go. So Jace, +1 targeting the token. Man, 2 emblems just changes everything in kind of a crazy way. Those birds are bigger than the dragons? How does that work? Michael's going to attack with his Wingmate Ruck and gain a life. It looks like Oliver might just trade here. Yeah, he's just going to trade off for his Dragonlord Silumgar. And there is the Silk Wrap, though, for the Dragon Master Outcast. Is he thinking about Wild Slashing his own Outcast? Sometimes you'll see these players do that so that they can get it back with Ojutai's command. Though, it's rare. Ooh, there you go. Dig through time. Got to be what Neal Oliver was hoping for here, right? He's going to get some roast back or something like that, but he does have that active Jace, as you mentioned, Randy, and he can get to digging.
Sounds like a good line to me. It is Ray Perez with the white-black tokens deck up a game on our backup table.
Fiery Impulse for Oliver. He does have some kind of interesting lines with even cards like that at this point. As he's got Spell Mastery, and he's got an active Soulfire Grandmaster as well. So he can begin the machine gun if he really wants. Oh, it looks like he might be going for it. Yeah, here we go. He is. Impulse that. Does it resolve? Okay. Goes back to my hand. Impulse that. Down. All right, so bird out of the way, and the skies are clear, and now Oliver gets to start chipping away in the air, and he's just got to hit 4 times before this thing's over, as Matrix just fell down to 9 life. Yeah, I like what Oliver's doing here. He's got multiple engines going. Yeah, and Majors draws his card and says, yeah, I can't beat that. And we're going to call it a game. So there goes game 1 to Neal Oliver. And I think we're going to jump in and take a look at what Nathan Holiday and Ray Perez are up to.
One of the key cards in this white-black tokens deck that people are really starting to like in Standard, Knight of the White Orchid. Nathan Holiday also playing 4 copies of Knight of the White Orchid in his deck. But he's over on the white-green Megamorph side of this. So this looks very similar. I mean, speaking of the mocks, very similar to the deck that Brad Nelson used to top 4 that event. It's not card for card identical, but it's very close. Same basic idea, which is your 2-drop should be Knight of the White Orchid in that deck. The thing is,
and Ray agrees.
Yeah, Ray's got it in the white-black,
Yeah.
but Nathan has it in the Megamorph.
So we have this mirror match of Knight of the White Orchids potentially.
Pseudo-mirror. Does it pair better with the green cards or the black cards?
I don't know. Like, so what's the huge advantage? Do both of those, like, especially on Nathan's side, like, does he have places to put all that extra mana?
Well, the biggest advantage is that when you're on the draw and you play it on turn 2, suddenly you get to 4 mana on turn 3. It's almost like you played first. Like suddenly you get to play your Wingmate Rock before they can play theirs. They can still beat you to Gideon. Well, but I mean they get their next turn. So Gideon you don't necessarily get advantage of, but it's just being able to get that extra land in play just catches you up from the tempo drawback of being on the draw.
Reasonable body too. 2/2 first strike can do some things.
Yeah, it's turn 3 where you play the Knight of the White Orchid, which is why you don't get the Gideon first. If you want the extra land, it has to be. You can't do that on turn 2 because you have to have already played a land, and then it's 2/2. But yeah, turn 3 Knight of the White Orchid.
You're used to playing with Moxen.
Sorry. Turn 3 Knight of the White Orchid. The particularly nice thing you can do after sideboarding with these decks, you see the little dribble of blue mana, very similar to the way you're calling it Esper tokens, which is fair. It has Disdainful Stroke in the sideboard. Both of these decks are sideboarding a couple copies of Disdainful Stroke. And Knight of the White Orchid lets you go turn 3, plains, Knight of the White Orchid, go get my Prairie Stream, play my land for the turn. Now I've got Disdainful Stroke up, untap, Wingmate Rock you.
That's great.
Both decks have that line.
Huh? You know, this card is a reprint. We saw it before. And it saw play in Standard back then, too.
Well, it's never been paired with fetchable multi-lands, though.
No.
The fact that there are now, because it gets a plains card, it doesn't get a basic plains.
Yeah.
It gets a plains. So Prairie Stream, Canopy Vista. Do we want to head back to our first match?
Yeah, let's head back over to our first match.
Token's looking pretty good there.
Yeah, the tokens, the Secure the Waste there looked like it was great, but I want to see what happens here.
Oh, another turn to Jace.
Also not a bad turn to
This is the thing that the tokens deck does not have. Like a dribble of blue mana for sideboarded Disdainful Strokes, but no Jace Ruins Prodigy.
Ooh, immediately answered from Michael Majors. It's going to be a relief for Mike.
I think that the green-white deck is actually might be better than the white-black deck against Jace, which is kind of crazy. His black is a removal color, but being able to go turn 2 Dromoka's Command off a Warden of the First Tree will kill a lot of Jaces.
This is a nice sequence here for Majors. Silk wraps the Jace. There's a replacement Jace. But somehow Majors already has Gideon on the battlefield here.
Yeah, play draw matters a lot in Standard right now. It definitely, that tempo difference has a huge impact on the first, half a dozen turns of every match.
Majors is going to make a Knight Ally token. 4-ship in the turn back. And let's see what Neal comes up with on his side of the board. Ooh, Manus Rider. Ooh, Manus Riders. He's got a bunch of them. But he's going to kick things off with a loot from Jace where he finds a Tassiger. Poor Tassiger. Immediately discarded. So here comes Mantis Rider to start pressuring Gideon. No land for Oliver. He's digging. But he missed the land drop there.
Four-man after majors? Ah, utter end. Down goes Mantis Rider. And Majors makes another token. Little does he know, there's more Mantis Riders where that one came from.
Ooh, is that a polluted delta?
Yeah.
That means he can flip this Jace. Nice one there for Neal. He's going to be able to necessarily. So this is things moving forward here for Oliver. Though he is under some pressure. Got to figure another Mantis Rider is likely to hit here. It blocks either of the Knights and takes out Gideon in one fell swoop. It's hard to argue with that. Gonna go ahead and main phase get this Jace going.
Wow. Not only does his fifth card flip the Jace, it also sets him up to play Tassiger for 1 mana this turn.
Whoa.
Right.
Jeez, man, this deck is insane. I mean, we've seen it, right? It was at the PT, it was at QC last week, but after watching a couple of the deck techs that we recorded another one with it, by the way, here. Get the latest version of it on camera. Man, this deck is just
It is the consensus best deck in the format.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, if you're just, nobody's metagaming, let's just, play it against a diverse field. It gives you the most tools. And I mean, that's part of what's happened here. Neal has drawn 2 Jaces and 2 Mantis Riders, and Majors was able to answer the first of each, but not the second. Yeah, that said, yeah, the deck's great. I mean, even with the target on its forehead, it's not like there's anybody out there that is just going to crush it. It's just people who maybe there are people with an advantage over the Jeskai, but not such an insurmountable advantage that you're willing to surrender edge against the rest of the field.
All right, Knight of the White Orchid for no value. The saddest Knight of the White Orchid ever. But there he is. And preceding that was Painful Truths from Michael Majors. He drew 3 cards off of that, I believe. Yeah, looks like maybe it was just 2. No, he's got a Prairie Stream. You do 3.
How about
Goodness sakes, Neal Oliver, come on now. Give the guy a chance. He's also got an ominous red mana floating over there too, in case Mike has any delusions of a triple block here on Tassiger.
Wow, that is a real cross your fingers moment if you triple block. He might have to.
He may be forced to.
He's so far behind. I would not blame him for triple blocking.
Yeah, he's thinking about if he can bother to risk it here. You know, a Wild Slash or a Fiery Impulse just blows him out. He's just going to go a little more conservative and say, well, I'm just going to get 3 chump blocks out of my creatures here. Makes a lot of sense. Too risky the other way. And in fact, Oliver has it as well.
Yeah, it was not a bluff.
Just like last time, by the way, when he was representing Dispel and also had it.
True story.
All right, so Oliver's going to plus
Funny.
Jace.
It is also true.
Pass.
I think Majors kind of saw through this. Neal attacked into a potential triple block without activating his Jace. He could have just plussed his Jace, shrank one of those creatures, and now there is no triple block available. So Michael's saying, oh, he wants me to triple block, therefore I better not triple block.
Yeah, good eye. Yeah, that's totally true. This is a big turn for Majors. He really needs to put out a haymaker here or try to even things up a bit. And still know that he has the tools to do it. He's got a bunch of lands in his hand. My goodness. Pair of shambling vents sitting down there ready to rumble as well, but I don't know how many times we can say it. Good old Mantis Rider.
Ray Perez has already won that back table match, by the way.
And you said he's on the same deck as Majors?
Yeah, white-black tokens, Esper tokens. I don't know which name's going to stick, but looking like it's going to split these two feature matches.
I agree.
Beating the green-white Megamorph, but losing to Jeskai.
Oliver's.
Sorry, beating the Bat Megamorph, I should say.
Oliver says, well, it worked last time. Let's just do it again. Are we going to see a shambling vent pop to life here? We are. We have 4 lands in hand for Majors?
Really?
Yeah, look at that.
Not a very exciting draw.
Yikes. This is the same game that he Painful Truths in for 3 as well, so he's dug pretty deep into his deck, but it certainly hasn't paid off for him here. He's just kind of flooding out. All right, Shambling Vents is going to chump block, meaning he's only going to take 4 damage this turn. Neal has nothing to flash back still with an empty graveyard. He's just going to plus his Jace. And those are 5 lands in hand for Majors who can do nothing but set them on the table and shake his opponent's hand. So a tough loss there for Majors. Not really much he could do about it. A nice draw from Oliver.
Yeah.
And a really tough late game draw there for Majors. And that means that Oliver wins it. You know, I bet you anything Neal's talking about that spot where he's like, am I supposed to plus this first? I obviously want you to block. I could have taken the opportunity away from you. You know I could have taken the opportunity away, and I chose not to. Interesting stuff.
Sounds like we're trying to get a shot of the Brad Nelson match.
Yep. We've got a mobile camera over there, but it's a little tight in the feature match area here. We've got a kind of a cool thing that we'll do at some of the GPs where there's a stage that goes around the outside of the feature match area, so you can get up on top of it a little bit and gives you a better viewing for the people that are in the building here. But we kind of have to work around that with the tripods.
I did a deck tech with Brad this morning. He is very happy with his deck. So he's on Bant Megamorph, right? It's essentially green-white Megamorph, but it's very similar to what Nathan Holiday had there. Not card for card identical, but Knight of the White Orchid fueled green-white Megamorph. Brad played Avatars at the Pro Tour.
Avatar the Resolute?
Yeah, the 3/2 that can block, has reach, that can block a Mantis Rider. But he was like, his teammates talked him into it, and he's, you know, he really thought there was a better version with Knight of the White Orchid, didn't find it. But like between Autumn Burchett going 9-1 at the Pro Tour with a Knight of the White Orchid fueled green-white, and then also Patrick Dickmont has had a lot of success, and Patrick and Brad have worked together in the past. So, you know, Patrick sent Brad a deck list, and Brad was like, well, your sideboard is crap, but I really like what you're doing with this Knight of the White Orchid stuff. Brad's sideboards are always so good.
Yeah. All right, well, it looks like we got a camera over there. It's kind of hard to see what the live totals
Phelps
are,
is also on. Whoa, this is Bant mid-range, not Bant Megamorph. Mana Gorger Hydra.
Oh, Eric says he's playing Hardened Scales.
Nice. Yeah, 4 Hardened Scales. This list is sweet. Mana Gorger Hydra, Abzan Falconer, Avatar the Resolute, Hangerback, Den Protector, Servant, Hardened Scales, Dramoka's Command, Stubborn Denial, Feat of Resistance, Valorous Stance.
This is the full on, too. Look at that. That's a Mana Gorger Hydra in the graveyard.
It is. All +1/+1 counters all the time.
Though it looks like he played a face-up Den Protector here at some point in this game.
True.
There's no counter on that. This is game 3 between these two, and Brad Nelson looks like he's barely stabilized. There's the Hardened Scales. A little late, perhaps.
The eponymous card. Cool deck. Is this actually good? I mean, there's cool deck, and then there's actually good deck, right? He's 4-0 at the GP, though. He did not have 3 buys. I might have had 2, but I mean, I definitely looked at the names of all the 3-buy players, and he was not on that list. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be placed on a creature you control, put that many +1 counters on it instead. Or since that card came out in cons, I know Brewers were intrigued at the time. And
he's attacking with a Servant of the Scale, which is a 0/0 for green that comes in with a +1/+1 counter on it. So if you've got the scales, you get an additional one. But it also moves the counter over. In fact, it moves any counters it has on it over to a creature when it dies. And so hardened scales will trigger there. And Phelps is like, yeah, sure. How about we put him on old Den Protector? And since it's going to add an extra one, it gives it 2. And I'm assuming that gets it near not being able to be blocked. Yeah,
that's at 2 here?
It's really awkward. Yeah, because the Hangerback Walker is going to be on 3. And he can't block and pump, but if he pumps it, then it can't block anymore. So
he can Gideon Emblem?
He can Gideon Emblem. Good old-fashioned counters race here.
What a weird spot.
What a weird spot indeed. Yeah, he has to cash in Gideon here for an emblem. Now it's 3 creatures versus 2 creatures in Brad's favor. Dave's at 14 life. But wait, there's more. Deathmist Raptor face up. And he's going to pass the turn back to David.
Couldn't David have put a counter on his Hangerback Walker there?
I think he forgot.
Yeah, looks like it.
Did you see how he untapped his land and then kind of like was like, and it was like, yeah, you kind of untapped it. Ooh, here's Avatar of the Resolute, though.
Which gets a +1/+1 counter for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter.
And then he gets an additional.
3 total. 2 creatures plus the bonus off the hardened scales. Bad. 2 mana for 6/5. That seems fair.
And now he's going to attack with Hangerback. And it looks like Brad's going to block here with Death Mist.
Well, he's obliged to block with something. Even at 2/2, the Hangerback is lethal. And now those 2 Thopters are lethal.
Right, so that's an issue here for Nelson.
Can Brad kill his own Hangerback? But then what does he block Den Protector with?
Yeah, he's in a tough spot
and
here.
Oh, by the way, there's a 6/5 Avatar of the Resolute over there.
Which also has Trample,
Which has Trample, right. Reach Trample.
Rample?
Rample? Is that what I...
No.
Can we stop trying to make Flample happen?
We can stop.
Is the synergy in David Phelps' deck actually going to win him this game 3?
It kind of feels like it. I mean, he's just produced.
Brad's cards look better to me,
threats.
not going to lie. He's got more stuff. He's got individually higher quality stuff, but that Servant turned Den Protector into a lethal threat thanks to the hardened scales.
God, you got to wonder if Brad's got like a
he needs a Dromoka's
command in his hand.
He needs to like Hangerback, fight Avatar, make 4-5 blockers, flying blockers, something like that. I mean, the Deathmist Raptor is 4/4 and can block Den Protector now.
Currently,
so basically, he needs a Dromoka's command.
Oh, speak of the devil, here's a Dromoka's command for David.
What's he doing?
I don't know.
Avatar
fights something.
Fights
Nissa.
Interesting. Oh, and put a counter on Den Protector?
Maybe so.
Counter on Den Protector still can be blocked by Hangerback.
Well, it gets 2 counters, though.
Oh, good grief. Because of the hardened scales.
Right.
Dromoka's command puts 2 +1/+1 counters, which makes the Den Protector lethal. Oh, by the way, the Thopters are also lethal.
Yeah, Brad better have some serious business here, because David is hitting from a lot of angles at this point. Big Trampler, big Unblockable, a couple small flyers. Yeah, Brad at 2 life is just brutal here.
This Avatar is actually a trade, right? I mean, some of what's going on here is okay for Brad. Basically, he just needs to deal with the Den Protector. Like, if that's, I'm pretty sure that was Avatar fighting Hangerback. It's a 5/5 Hangerback thanks to the Gideon Emblem, which is enough to trade with the 6/5 Avatar. Or is he fighting Nissa? I thought he was fighting Hangerback. Maybe he fought Nissa.
I think he fought Nissa.
Okay.
He's just getting a blocker off the battlefield here.
Okay. That makes sense. So he fought Nissa. Avatar wins that fight. Den Protector gets 1 plus a bonus counter. So it's up to 6 power, which there do not appear to be blockers for 6 power Den Protector or the 2 Thopters. Oh, by the way, there's a 6 power Trampling Avatar. So
All right, it looks like we're seeing a counter hit.
there's 3 different lethal attacks here.
Right. So here's a counter to start things off, though, for Brad.
Okay. He must have a Drummock's Command of his own.
Well, he assumes that this will be dying
But
before blocks happen.
so if can he get enough counters? Yeah, I guess he can. If he has a Drummock's Command, he can fight Den Protector. Right? He fights Den Protector. He has to make sure he dies in the fight, which is kind of hilarious. But if he dies in the fight with Den Protector, then he makes a bunch of Thopters. He can both block the 2 flyers and also gang block the Avatar. I mean, Brad must have Drummock's Command, right? He'd be scooping up his cards by now if he didn't.
Attention, rated Prix players. That is time in the round.
It's just a question of how he wants to sequence it. Seems like he may as well get the 5th counter there, have a 6/6 hanger back, and then put the Drummock's Command counter onto something like the Death Mist. All right, here is Drummock's Command. Counter onto the ally, sure. And fight your Den Protector. 6/6 is going to trade with 6/5. Does David have a trick? What is your last card, sir?
Uh-oh. He's tapping
Oh, God.
mana.
He has another one? Oh, no. Valorous
Oh, he's
Stance.
got Valorous Stance.
Den Protector's going to live through the fight. He's going to
kill Brad.
Brad's dead, right?
I mean, unless he has something else.
Wait, if he'd put the counter on the Death Mist, oh, it would only be 5 hours. Still couldn't block.
Correct.
Yeah.
Does Brad have another one?
I mean,
He's got
if
something.
he doesn't have another trick, he's just dead to that Den Protector. He's got a green and a white. Does he have an answer? Cool game.
This has been a sweet little finish here. We came in right for the good stuff, too, Randy. Game 3. I see one of his cards is Death Mist, right?
That doesn't help. Wow.
Brad is
Brad
going
picking
for
up his
some mana
lands.
here.
I think he does have something.
He's got Nissa, Death Mist. You know, I think he's got his own Valorous Stance. He does, but he's decided it's not good enough, and he's shook the hand here. Yeah, because if he kills the Den Protector in response, then his hangerback doesn't die.
Oh, and he dies to the 2
dies to the 2 Thopters in the air. Oh, man, what a tricky spot down the stretch. Cool to watch, though. David Phelps defeats Brad Nelson. Big smile on Brad's face as he looks at the sky like, how did this happen?
So if he had led with the Valorous Stance on the Den Protector first, could he have responded with Drummock's Command to the Valorous Stance?
I have to go back. I need it on Magic Online. That's going to do it for round 5 here from Indianapolis.